Welcome to Subramani. I've been doing a series of videos on fraud. Not that you'll see all of them together, they'll come up at different points in time. So, one of the frauds is what I call the newsletter fraud. Newsletters earlier used to come to you in print form, and it used to be mailed to you or dropped in your house by your local milk vendor or newspaper vendor talking about a share. Now, life has become much simpler. All you need is a phone for being able to upload a share. So you talk about a share and say this is so great, this is fantastic, here is inside information, and you talk up the share. So what all happens? What are the types of things that they do? First is touting, saying, oh, this is a great share, this is the future cash flow, this is what is going to happen, as if they know. They may or may not know, but they are likely to talk about it simply because the company has given them some material. I mean, all it requires is to give me some material which I can read out to you and say this is a great stock, this is a great scheme, right? So any of these things are possible. So does it happen? I think it happens in a very big way, right? It used to happen with newspapers, but it's far more difficult to convince a newspaper to do it. Of course, with money, things may be possible, but it is much easier to set up your own video channel, get 50,000 subscribers, get 1 lakh subscribers, whatever, and then start doing this pumping scheme. So first you can do touting. Of course, then you can do pump and dump schemes. What is the difference? The pump, I mean, there is something, pump and dump is you pump up the share, you take the share price up, and then you dump it. After some time, it will be the most unloved share. Nobody will want to touch it, and the company would have disappeared. So you would have lost money. Third is scalping. You keep writing, boosting about the company. You're trying to improve the PE. You take the price up. It doesn't mean you're going to dump it. The price just goes up because of your touting about it. So that is the third one. So also at this stage, the advantage for the company is if the share price is consistently kept up at a PE of say 80 or 90 or 110, right? So these are the PEs. You can constantly borrow money against your shares as a promoter. That helps you, or you can keep placement. You can keep doing placement. If your price is at if your share is at 110 PE, you can always do a cheap placement of 65 PE, right? So that's an advantage for the promoter. Do promoters do it? I'm not very sure that they don't do it. So let me put it that way. I speak to people and I find that in this company they paid money for doing this video. So sometimes it looks like, oh my god, I didn't even know that these things could get paid for. For example, in the Franklin Templeton thing, I actually had a lot of friends' money, my money in the ultra short bond fund, but I honestly believe that the money will come back. The money has come back, right? So I want to say that I'm credible, not because that money came back, but I believe that the money will come back, and the money has come back. Now, there are many people who actually said, oh, you will lose 80%, 85%. I think it started at 85%, going down to 15%, and some of the handles which were talking about it have not disappeared. So there's no responsibility to doing something right or doing something wrong. It just people can come and do it. So pump and dump scheme, scalping scheme, very importantly, undisclosed conflicts of interest. Look, I can say from time to time the mutual funds, like I told you in one of the videos, I said I went from Madurai to Tirunelveli. Of course, I went from Madurai to Tirunelveli. I was paid by Aditya Birla mutual fund to do lectures there, but Aditya Birla is not paying me money for doing this video. But you have to know that my business is I deal with mutual funds, I talk to mutual funds. This video I'm doing, some mutual fund may benefit, may not benefit, I'm not getting into it, but this video is not paid for. But you have to understand that since I have interest with a mutual fund, I do work with 8 or 9 mutual funds. So chances are some conflict of interest is there. But this video is not sponsored, but I am sponsored. I'm paid money to do training, right? So I could be paid money to do training. I could be paid money to do some sales training, some IAP, IEP, any of those things. So you need to understand. It is very unlikely that I will say bad things about my clients. I mean, I know I am foolish, but not that foolish. So understand that could be conflict of interest. In making the video, there could be conflict of interest other than making the video. So in my case, both could be there, right? I have made paid videos. I have put it on my blog. I have said these are paid videos. Similarly, there could be work which I am doing with a mutual fund which pays me very well, and I'm doing videos, but I may or may not talk about their products, right? So but one thing is very certain, that if I'm talking about a product, very good chance that I would be having the product. But I did videos in Tamil and in Gujarati and in English and Hindi about the LIC IPO. And I also said very clearly that I will not apply in the IPO. In fact, I have recently bought the share at about 656, and I did not have the share when I was making the video. So occasionally it could happen, but chances are, if I'm doing a video, there's chances that I put my own money into it, right? Another thing I've seen is false performance claims. When performance claims are made, there is no way how you will understand what's happening. For example, one insurance company, I forgot the name, they are saying that the return of premium is the best way to be borrowing, to be taking a life insurance policy, and which is completely wrong. It is term insurance which is the best. Term insurance with return of premium is like a cheap endowment policy. Don't fall for it, right? But these things happen, and they come as saying myth busters. So be careful about this. So no disclosure and vague disclosure. So my I'm not getting into no disclosure, but my disclosure is a vague disclosure. From time to time, companies may pay me money for making videos, for doing advertising related work, for writing content, for doing training. For all these things, I get compensated. So you have to decide on the basis of what you hear, whether you think I've been compensated, or I'm saying this because of the impact of compensation. I think I'm not influenced, but it is very difficult to say I am not influenced, because somewhere this person is engaging with you and doing these things. So there is a conflict of interest, right? So the other thing could be, go and look at my disclosure. I've done many disclosure videos, but you don't go and look at them. I've said that this is how I could be getting compensated. So just so buried disclosure, which you will never be able to find, and also I don't want to do Q&A on specific shares, because that's a very, very slippery ground. And I get queries like that very regularly. What do you think of Adani stocks? What do you think of Patanjali stocks? I can't say anything, right? So I may not have invested anything in Adani stock, but may have invested in a mutual fund which has invested in Adani stock. So somewhere I'm participating in the Adani stock, somewhere I'm participating in the Patanjali stock, somewhere I'm participating, right? So I could have invested in the mutual fund which has invested in Patanjali. I could have invested in the mutual fund which has invested in Grindwell Norton, but I could be holding Carborundum Universal shares. So I am Grinding Wheel, I'm fully involved, right? So some of these things are very difficult to quantify, saying what kind of interest is there, but will I do a pump and dump scheme? Very rarely, in the sense that very rarely will I talk about a share with which I have zero connection. For example, I trade very regularly in Suzlon, right? Now Suzlon is not a great share, but I have nothing to do, I have no clue who is in management now, and I'm indifferent, I don't care, but I may be buying and selling regularly, right? It's a share which I'm not recommending the share, but that's a share which I keep trading day in and day out, right? By the time you see this video, I may have sold, or by the time you see this video, I may have bought and sold, right? So all these transactions will happen. You need to understand that when I give examples, most of these examples will be from my contract notes. Whenever something sounds too good to be true, believe me, it's too good to be true. In fact, I've done videos on how frauds happen, so please see those also. Thank you.